friends, happy 2025. I don't know about y'all, but I am so excited to be leaving 2024 behind. We're done with that and entering into a new year. I know we don't need a new year to set fun goals, new intentions, just dream big, but I personally have always been really big into New Year's resolutions. It's been like a favorite tradition with my family to go over our resolutions together. It looks very different now that we all are busy with our own families and live in different cities and whatnot, but I think because of that, and it's something we literally did every single year together since I was like 10 or 11 years old. It's just very ingrained in me to plan out the goals, think about what I want for the year ahead, and I really love it. It's one of my favorite times of the year, and so I'm really excited about this video. I'm really excited to sit down with y'all and chat through a lot of my goals. Like I said, I am so ready to leave 2024 behind, and there were so many beautiful, amazing moments of 2024, but it was also just a really weird, clunky, hard year as well, with just things that I'm keeping private. But yeah, it was just an interesting year, and we did have some of like the highest of highs. We got to go to Japan with some of our very best friends, like truly a bucket list trip. We got to go to Disney so many times, but there was just some hard things too. So very excited for this new energy that kind of comes with a new year. And if you're new here, what a fun time to join this cozy corner of the internet. My name is Molly. I live in Austin, Texas with my husband. We've lived here for almost 5 years now, originally from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm a really big runner. I have set my sights on a huge running goal, which is to run my first 100-mile race this year. So you will find a lot of running vlogs, running videos. Also got lots of that over on Instagram if that is something you're interested in, but also share a lot more about all the other things that I love in this life and the things that bring me joy. So a lot of reading, just a lot of days in my life. I work for myself. I freelance full-time as a social media manager and copywriter. That's kind of a big question mark for this year, but yeah, working for myself, living life in Austin. I love Disney, and really just sharing the highs and lows of what it's like to be in my 30s and just navigating life. So if those are things that you're interested in, I hope you will stick around. This year is going to be such a fun year. Like I said, I'm running my first 100-mile race. We're doing a Run Disney race. Unfortunately, my husband and I decided to be financially smart this year and downsize into a tiny little studio apartment. And so most of the filming I try and do in like the bigger, cleaner spaces in the apartment, but because of that, sometimes people will walk in when I'm filming. So just had to do a little quick change of scenery. And I don't remember where it was. I think I was just talking about some of the things that we have coming up this year, but yeah, we've got 100-mile race, Run Disney. We'll be doing hopefully a Europe trip, have some other fun like spring races. So I hope if you're interested in kind of a realistic look at someone just trying to navigate all the things, training, finding time for my hobbies, husband, friends, all that stuff, definitely hope you will stick around and subscribe, because I'm just really excited about YouTube and like pumped up about all the content that I'm gonna get to create this year. So with that being said, I have my iPad right here and just wanna dive into 2025. I'm not gonna talk about 2024 because we are done with that. We are moving on. And overall, I was just like thinking about my vision and what I want for this year. And sometimes I'll do a word of the year and couldn't really like nail down one, but I think overall my theme, I really just need to slow down and really want all my actions to be aligned with the person that I know I am, the person I know I was created to be, the person that I believe is like my best self. I really just want to make sure all my actions are aligning with that part of me, if that makes sense. So maybe like alignment, but also like chill out would be my words for the year. I think I just spend a lot of time fretting about the future and what's next. A lot of that largely in part because I freelance, which is why I like mention that. I just don't know if it is the right like career for me, and there's been so much back and forth with my career journey. It's just like so all over the place, and overall I feel like that area just brings me a lot of stress because there is a lot of like unknowns and long terms I just like don't know. So while I really love it, I just don't know if it's been the best for like my mental health. So overall, I feel like I just need to get that figured out, but also just need to like slow down and chill out. And I think it's funny too. I just need to remember like all the times I've been really stressed, like everything has really worked out, and it always does. Everything works out exactly as it should and exactly how God intends it to be. But I still am just, I think I'm just such a control freak that sometimes that is really hard. So yeah, overall, I'm just trying to channel more of like a calm, slower pace, and yeah, just living my life in the way that I know my like best self would be living it. So with that being said, I want to share all my goals for what I have for 2025. I am keeping some of them private, whether they're like relational goals or more like nitty gritty financial goals. Honestly, just have a lot of like to do things that need to get done that I'm not going to share, but categorize them into 3 different categories, which is financial, health, and personal / like fun, recreational. So yeah, the second 2 have a lot of them just because I was like, we'll just fit like under this bucket. But yeah, let's just go ahead and start with financial since that is the shortest one. Like I said, I have other goals for this. You know, like I said, we're in this apartment trying to figure out whether or not to buy a house, rent a house, whatever. We know we'll be in a different space. And so because of that, it's kind of left a giant like question mark around our money as well. So I really don't have like too many others beside this just because I don't know what like a house situation will look like, and also think whatever we do with like a house, I'll probably just end up keeping it private because some people online can just be wild. So we'll probably keep all of that journey private. But yeah, the 3 goals that I have for our finances is number 1, to complete 3 low buy years. And I feel like there's definitely like a preface with this because with the low buy, I just feel like last year we got a little like out of control with spending money and eating out and using DoorDash or using Instacart. Oh my gosh, that added up so fast. So there's just things like that I'm like, no, we cannot do that. We need some months where we're like not letting ourselves eat out, and need some months where you're not like going crazy out the bookstore. Guilty of that. But with that, there's like the caveat of I'm not going to not go to coffee with my friends because we're doing a low buy month. I probably wouldn't buy a latte because those are really expensive, especially here in Austin, but I will do like drip coffee or something. So there's definitely caveats. I will never say no to like socializing and hanging out with my friends, but we'll probably be, you know, I won't get dinner, appetizer, drink. I would just get dinner or something like that. But yeah, would love to complete 3 low buy months. We did 1 in 2024 and it was wild how much money we ended up saving. So definitely want to do some of those. The next goal is to save 15K for a new car, which when I say a new car, I mean new to us car. We have no need to buy an absolutely brand new car. And yeah, I just like, don't know if that's really even worth the money, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, right now Dom and I have 1 car. It is a 2016. We have put a lot of miles on it. It is still great. We've also put a lot of work into it. That thing has been like a money suck, but we sold Dom's car when we got married just to have 1 car. My car, I had fully paid it off. So we haven't had a car payment or anything like that, but we're getting to the point where we're starting to get a little bit worried, like within the next 100,000 miles, I feel like we could potentially need a new car. And then whenever we start to have kids as well, also kind of wonder if we will want 2 cars at that point. A lot of it also depends on like job situation and working from home and whatnot, but really just starting to prepare for whenever that is, whether that's this year or next year. We already have 10K saved and would like to save at least 15K. I think realistically we could get a good car for like between 25 to 30K, especially if it's used. So yeah, kind of shooting for around that ballpark. And the third goal, I have no idea if this is something we can achieve or not. Like I said, there's just like a lot of questionables with this year, with a house, with jobs and all of that, but would love to invest 35K this year. That is pretty on par with what we've done the past few years, and would just really love to make sure we're doing that. At a minimum, we will definitely both be maxing out our Roth IRAs, which I believe will be either 14 or 15,000. I'm not sure if the amount is going up in 25, but at a minimum, that is what we always do because we don't have 401ks. But yeah, ideally 35K would be the number that we can hit. The next category is health, and probably to no surprise, the first thing on my list is to complete a 100-mile race. I won't go too in-depth into that. If you are new here, I have plenty of videos showing my training. We've got 1 month left until the race, and I said this on my stories the other day. If I do not complete it, if something happens on race day, really there's only like a few circumstances that would like allow me to actually drop out and like DNF the race. So if something happens, then I will definitely be completing one at another point this year, ideally sooner rather than later, because I don't want to be training for that for a lot of the year. So I'm happy it's just 1 month away. And then the next is to create an at-home gym. Like I said, we're in a very small studio now. It has allowed us to save a lot of money and save up for a house. Don't know whether or not we will buy one or if we will just rent one. It really just depends on the market and like what is available and out there. But either way, we really hope and plan to be in a house. And with that, would love to create some type of like at-home outdoor gym situation. We've only ever lived in apartments, and so we've always had a gym accessible and like free to us because it comes as the amenities. But yeah, I don't really see myself wanting to like go on a run and then drive to a gym. I just think I'd be a lot more motivated if we can have stuff there. So I am like all over Facebook Marketplace. I am going to be looking. And then kind of basic, but next I would just want to eat more whole and diverse food. One of the greatest parts of 2024 for me was just learning to enjoy myself in the kitchen. And with that, I've been like cooking more and like being more experimental, but I just want to focus on cooking more whole foods, delicious foods, nutritious foods, and diverse foods as well. It's really easy for me just to like get in a rut with what we're cooking. And I feel like finding recipes can be very difficult sometimes too. So yeah, this is just something I really want to work on. Next, I really want to prioritize sleep health. I feel like this next thing, when we tell people, everyone's like, oh my gosh. But Dom and I still have a full bed because we did not get a new bed when we got married. So we have been in a full-size mattress for almost 4 years now. I'm like, when did we get married? Yeah, almost 4 years now. And we need a bigger size. We need a bigger size. I feel like we are just like cramped at night. His heat makes me hot, my heat makes him hot. And so it's just like, even temperature wise, it's not working. So that will be a big step and hopefully will help a lot. But I, have been taking magnesium and doing other things, but I feel like I could really be a lot better about like putting screens away way before bedtime and just doing something that relaxes me before bed, helps me to calm it down. I feel like sometimes we'll like watch an intense movie and then hop in bed and I can't sleep. And it's like, well, yeah, no wonder you couldn't sleep. So just kind of getting rid of those bad habits and really figuring out a sleep routine that works for me. About 5 or 6 months ago, I think I got a full, no, not that long ago, maybe 3 months ago, I got a full blood panel and want to make sure to do that again next year. So that's my next goal. It was really cool. I just used like an online service called Malla, M-A-L-L-A. They actually come to you and then they send it off and they have like everything included, so you don't have to figure out what to like test for or ask for. Because I feel like that can be like really just like intimidating and confusing going to your doctor and asking for all that. So I really liked the service and want to do it again just to check some of the levels that were like, everything was good, but some things were like very low or some things were getting too high. So definitely am like focusing on a few different things and want to get that back, and hopefully we'll see improvement in that. That's why I'm doing it. Kind of planned out to do like, okay, from this blood test to the next 6 to 9 months, whatever, I want to really be working on like X, Y, and Z things and taking the right supplements. So then when I take the blood test again this year, hopefully we'll get back results and hopefully we'll see that I've improved my numbers. My next goal is to prioritize strength training in an off running season. Obviously I have been running a lot for the ultra. I am still doing strength, but it is like 2 20-minute sessions a week, maybe sometimes 3, but I really want to dedicate myself to doing like a very intentional strength training. Well, the light just came off, that's fine. I really want to dedicate myself to doing like an intentional strength training plan and just really work on building more muscle. I feel like the older I get and also just the more I even get into running, I really just like wish I had more time to strength train. And so I know my big race of the year is in February, and then I've got a couple halves like I mentioned later in the spring, but ideally I will be taking majority of the summer and maybe even a little bit into the fall just to really go hard at doing strength training. That is something I've never done before. I don't even know how to approach that. Like I'm contemplating if we could afford it. Like I'm contemplating getting maybe a personal trainer. I don't know, but I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I just think it'll be really good for me to finally have some time to really like dedicate myself to that. And then my last health goal is to be aware of protein intake. I do not want to be all like anal about tracking it or like macros or numbers. That's just like that does not sound fun. Honestly, that does not sound enjoyable. And I feel like that would take away the joy of like cooking and eating and stuff. So I definitely don't want that. But I will say when I am like paying attention to it, it just makes me so aware of the days where I'm not paying attention to it, how little protein I am getting. Like it is scary. I could probably go a day where I'm getting around like 30 and need to be getting like 150. So I just want to be aware of it and like thinking of it and really just making sure like that the food I'm eating has at least some protein in it and is helping me get like closer to that goal. I know I'm not going to get that much protein every single day, but yeah, just being like aware of it. I also recognize that with some of these goals, especially like be aware of protein intake, it's like that is not measurable at all, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, I will know. And I want to like be revisiting these goals every single month. So like, trust me, I'm going to know. Okay. Okay. And then for the last category is personal goals. I'm so excited. I'm just getting so excited thinking about how like fun this year is going to be. At least I hope so if all of these things happen. But first goal is to learn to needlepoint, which technically I can already cross this off. I'm not gonna cross it off yet, but when I was home for Christmas, my mom taught me needlepoint. She is an exceptional needle pointer. She has been creating like gifts for us out of like her needlepoint canvases for such a long time, and like around my parents' house there are just so many of her needlepoints framed, and it's so cool and it's so fun. So she taught me and I'm already obsessed. Like I'm so excited. I can't even wait just to do like cozy hobby vlogs in 2025, just because that is like, I feel like as much as I love running content, like the content I consume the most is like either Disney content or like cozy hobby content. And so I'm excited just to like kind of lean a little bit more into that, because I'm seriously loving needlepoint. I definitely have a lot to learn, which is why I'm like, I don't really want to cross it off yet. I haven't even finished like my first canvas yet, but yeah, I am really excited just to like spend more time on this hobby, and it's a screen-free hobby, which is amazing. So yeah, it's so fun. I'm so excited about it. My next goal is to take a self-defense class. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, especially as a solo female runner. I just think it's really important. Dom, I was talking with my friend about this when she joined me for a run, but I was like, Dom has showed me plenty of moves, and we have like walked through, very sad to think about, very scary to think about, but I have like walked through like certain scenarios. If I was on a run, if something were to happen, I feel like I did not, like if something actually happened, no, it did not, like it is not still in my brain. So I think if I do a class, I will be able to like really practice it. Obviously I'm not gonna like hurt Dom when we're like practicing the like fake what if scenarios. So I feel like a class will be really good, and it'll just really good to like have an instructor and kind of like walk through stuff like that. So if you're in Austin and would want to go to one with me, let me know and maybe we can find one together. Next goal is to take a European vacation. I'm so excited. Dom and I were just talking about this too. We were kind of between a few different places, but I think we just landed on London, Paris, and maybe some like other parts in France, maybe other parts in England, but I don't know. We'll do like a London, Paris this summer in June. I can't wait. I was lucky enough to go to a lot of Europe when I studied abroad in college. At this point, that was 10 years ago. So when we go this summer, it'll literally have been 10 years since I went to London and Paris. So it's been forever, and Dom has only ever been to Copenhagen, which we went a couple years ago. It was his first time in Europe, and he was like, oh my gosh, I love it. So I'm really excited just to go and get to explore with him. It's gonna be so much fun. So that is definitely on the to-do. I actually have one of my big like to-dos for January is to figure out flights and start to book that. I'm really hopeful we can book our flights, or at least some of them, with points. I've never really dabbled in the point game, but I feel like, I don't know, now might be a good time to start. Next one, kind of in line with self-defense, but CPR. I would really like to take a CPR class. I'll be honest, I don't really know. I feel like I wouldn't be any help if I was in a situation and something were to happen, and I just hate that idea of like knowing that, I mean, something could happen. I feel like I hear stories all the time where something happens and like one random person knows CPR. And so I just feel like knowing that kind of stuff and like first aid stuff is really helpful, really important, especially as we also think about, you know, having kids one day and whatnot. I just really want to know all of those basics. So would love to take a CPR class, and I will throw it out again. If you're in Austin and would be interested in that, definitely let me know, because I think I'll be a lot more intimidated. I don't know why, but to take a CPR class instead of self-defense. But yeah, definitely on my list, and I feel like it's just a really important life skill that we should all have. The next goal is to learn to sew again. Some of y'all might remember, depending on how long you followed me on Instagram, my mom taught me to sew. She's just so crafty. She is so wonderful and creative, but my mom sews a ton. She sews like majority of her dresses, and so she taught me to sew about a year and a half ago. I really liked it, but it was one of those hobbies where it's like, it's still really hard and you're learning and it's kind of uncomfortable. So it wasn't necessarily something I like looked forward to. And so I didn't do it that much. And then we moved into the studio in January. And so we just like legitimately do not have space for me to sew. So I feel like I've forgotten how to sew. So I would like to learn again. I have saved so many like patterns and like easy to follow like things on Instagram for like creating tops, skirts, dresses, and just feel like I would really love it. And I'm not really a big shopper. I probably bought less than like 10 pieces of clothing. I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but I just like don't really buy that much. But I think I would just really enjoy making pieces that really feel like me. So that's definitely on my list. Next up, and let me preface this goal because I don't set reading goals. I am a huge reader. I read almost 105 books in 2024. So I love to read. I feel like I don't really need to set a reading goal, and ultimately I don't set a reading goal because it is one of my favorite hobbies. I don't ever want it to become a chore. I don't ever want it to be something where I like feel like I have to hit a certain number or have to like read something that I don't want to. So that's why I don't have like a bare reading goal. However, I didn't read much nonfiction last year, and I love nonfiction, and I feel like there have been so many incredible nonfiction books coming out that I want to read. And so I just want to make sure I make it a point to read 12 nonfiction books. I didn't want to put like more nonfiction, even though I know I've done that with other things, but just wanted to quantify this because I think it'll help me stay on track. And overall, I feel like it's like harder for me to read nonfiction because I really read as a way to relax and wind down. So I think I'm just gonna have to find a way to incorporate reading the nonfiction into like my morning routine or something like that. Otherwise, I feel like I don't want to be highlighting and underlining before I go to bed, and I do a lot of my reading before bed. So just need to figure out the right routine for that. I am like sweating in here. I feel like I can't talk just because I'm like so hot and I don't have water. So we need to wrap this thing up. My next goal is to play more games. Again, I know like not measurable at all, but I love playing board games. I love playing word games. I love playing mystery puzzle games, crosswords, word search, Myrtles, whatever. And I just want to do more of that in 2025. And doing like Wordle more is something I want to do. We always do that when we are with my parents, and Dom and I always think it's so fun. And then once we get back here, we're like, oh, no time, don't do it. And I'm like, that is such a lie that we like don't have time to wind down and do these like slower activities. And so that kind of goes back to my overall vibe for 2025 is just to slow down and like, we do have time to play these games in the morning, and we do have time to play a board game at night and not just like being like, oh, I'm tired, let's watch TV. So we have so many board games. Dom and I love board games. I feel like playing board games is one of our favorite hobbies and things to do together. And just more often than not lately, we've been like, I'm tired, let's just watch a movie. And just want to make sure we're playing more games. My second to last goal is to grow my YouTube to 5K. I do not want to focus on numbers too much because sometimes it can just like make you feel like you're not doing enough if you're not hitting the numbers. But I really love y'all. I really love creating these videos. Honestly, it's my favorite platform because I clearly just love to yap. And so I feel like I just get to like chat with y'all and get to hang out with y'all more so than I do on any of the other platforms. And so it would really be just really cool if 5,000 people followed me on here. I feel like it's just like the highest honor that people want to watch these videos and like you want to spend time with me. And it's so cool. So I ultimately would love to find more people who like relate to what I'm doing and what I enjoy. So yeah, would love to hit 5K. And then last but not least, kind of in line with some of the other things I've said, but it's just more screen-free activities. So whether it's the games, the needlepoint, maybe more walks in the evenings, maybe more games like outside, reading outside. I just feel like we've gotten into a bad habit of watching TV and watching movies too much, maybe even watching YouTube too much. Like I said, that's my favorite platform, so I watch YouTube a lot. And yeah, I just really want to get away from like needing to have like an electronic device a lot. More like picnics, more exploring Austin, just stuff like that. So yeah, overall, I think the vibe for 2025 is just lean more into those things that really bring me joy and also just really like calm me and our stress-free activities. That is the vibe and the hope for 2025. And I just so appreciate you being here. Like I said, I know I love to yap, and I also know a lot of those goals aren't very measurable, but hopefully you get like the vibe of what we're going for in 2025. And if you've made it this far, I would love nothing more than to hear what your goals are for 2025. I just love hearing what people are dreaming up of and what they're hoping their year to look like. I feel like it shares so much about a person, about what their goals are and what they're hoping for. So I would love to hear what some of your goals are for 2025. If you feel so inclined to comment below, I just can't wait to read those. And yeah, just appreciate you being here. Appreciate you watching this far, and I am just so grateful for every single one of y'all. It really just means so much to me whenever any of y'all message me, leave a comment, and just like let me know that you enjoy watching my videos. I feel like so overwhelmed. It's just the coolest thing ever that y'all enjoy watching these videos. So thank you so much. Happy New Year, y'all. I think it is going to be such a great year and can't wait to see all that is in store for all of us. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.